Da-da-dee-dum. Hey, Shabbat Shalom. You caught me in the middle of a very important moment. I'm checking my scales. Checking my scales. Rabbi, what are you talking about? Well, this week's Torah portion is jam-packed with 74 mitzvot. Interestingly, one of the mitzvot in this week's Torah portion is that we are not allowed to possess any skewed scales in your home. What am I referring to? Well, in ancient times, the way you did business is you would have a set of scales at home, and you would use that to measure, to use as weights when you did a business transaction. But here's where it gets really interesting. The Torah doesn't just tell us that you're not allowed to use scales falsely. The Torah tells us you can't even own in your possession any false scales. Lo yehiyeh lecha. You can't even have in your inventory any scales that could potentially be used for the bad. There's a powerful message here. You see, many times people say, as long as I behave okay, it doesn't really matter how I feel inside. But we're making a mistake, because holding on to false scales is also holding on to skewed values. When we have values within ourselves that are incorrect, when we have deep within ourselves negativity that is mistaken, that is misaligned with what God really wants, ultimately it does seep through and it comes out. Because that's how the evil inclination works. He starts off by saying, as long as you behave okay, it's okay. But then the negativity inside begins to manifest and express itself. So this week's Torah portion tells us, Lo yehiyeh lecha. Clean up the insides. Don't even possess any negativity within your heart. We have just a few weeks left to the year. A friend of mine's in the retail business, and he said to me, you know, Zalman, at the end of every season, you know what we do? We take stock of our shelves. And as soon as he said that to me, I thought to myself, you know what, Zalman, at the end of the year, we need to take stock, not of our shelves, but of ourselves. Now's a good time to check our insides and make sure we have no scales that are a little bit off the center. Wishing you Shabbat Shalom, and I better get back to checking my scales.